Hi everybody, it's Stephanie. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am making Freddy Fazbear from the game Five Nights at Freddy's. So my kids have played Five Nights at Freddy's for many years and everyone always loves this game. So I thought it was time that I give it a try myself. And after playing it for a while, I realized that this game is a hard pass for me. I did not really enjoy it. And right after the first jump scare, I closed the game down and went back to the safety of my Stardew Valley farm. I probably will not play this game again, but at least I gave it a try one time. Okay, let's get started on my Freddy Fazbear Cake. I have all the supplies ready, so let's begin building the cake structure. When you make a 3D structured cake, you really need to use a wooden base. Here is mine. It's about a 15-inch square. I glued on wooden feet on the bottom, and then it is covered in Wilton fancy foil. I'm also going to need a few threaded rods with corresponding nuts and washers, and some boards to hold the cake up. Don't forget that I will list out all the supplies and tools needed to make this project down in the description box, so be sure to go check that out. Add a nut and washer to the threaded rod and push it up through the bottom of the board, and then secure it with another washer and nut. So that's going to be his first leg, and then repeat that for his other leg, and then tighten it up. I need a space of about 8 inches, so I'm marking that on both of the legs, and then I can add another round of nuts and washers, and then the board for his body. I'm adding another round of nuts and washers, but I don't want to tighten it up just yet, as I need to add the last threaded rod through the center board, and this is going to hold up the head. And now I can tighten everything up. Then I can add a cardboard cake board for my cake to sit on. What's great about this structure is that it can be modified to match any type of standing character, like maybe a doll or a monster or whatever it is. You can use these same steps to make any type of character. Look at these delicious chocolate cakes I already made, and I also made a batch of rich chocolate buttercream frosting, some of which I already put into a piping bag. Let's go ahead and stack the cake for his body. I'm using 4 layers of cake and 3 layers of delicious chocolate buttercream frosting. And once these are stacked, you can go ahead and cover it up and then pop it into the refrigerator to chill. Cake board. I need 3 more layers of cake for his head. They are 6-inch cakes and one is a 5-inch cake on the top. And all the layers are filled with more chocolate buttercream frosting. After looking at this cake, I feel like I'm not quite there on the shape of the body. So what I'm going to do is just take the extra half sphere cake that I have. I'm going to cut that in half and then put that on the top of the body. And I think that looks so much better. At the very minimum, you're going to need 2 pictures of Freddy, one from the front and one from the side. It would also be very helpful to have one of his back, but I couldn't find one, so I'm gonna just have to guess on that. Also, the images are just pictures from the internet, and using Photoshop, I enlarged them to about 22 inches tall. Using the photos as a guide, I'm thinning out his body and slowly carving him into his creepy teddy bear shape. For his head, you want to round out the top and then cut out a chunk of cake to resemble his snout. To create his arms, legs, and chin, I'm using Rice Krispie treats. I like using these because they're lightweight and easy to mold. And can you guess what you use to stick the treats to the structure? It's melted marshmallows. If the Rice Krispies start to fall off, you can wrap them up in plastic wrap and then chill it, and that should help it set up. I think he's looking good so far, so it's time to cover him completely in chocolate ganache. Try to get it somewhat smooth with a flexible plastic smoother. Okay, he's looking pretty smooth and beautiful, and I can now cover him completely in brown modeling chocolate. The modeling chocolate I use is called Chocopan, and sometimes I will also use Hot Hands modeling chocolate. So either of those brands are really great. The good thing is that they sell Chocopan at Michael's now, so you can just easily go to the store and buy it. It costs about $10 to $12 per pound, and I used maybe 4 or 5 pounds for this project. Let's move on to the details. The face is always the hardest for me, so I'm going to start there. I want his mouth to be black on the inside, and then I'm adding a large round piece of modeling chocolate for his snout. His eyes are different size circles of modeling chocolate, and those are pretty easy. Just make sure you have a set of circle cutters, and I will put a link to mine in the description. He also has some freckles on his snout, which I think is making him look really cute. And don't forget that he has just 1 row of teeth on the bottom of his mouth. Something that I love about modeling chocolate is that you get a really long period of time to work on it. Here you can see that I can go back to an area that I made earlier, like right here under his belly, I'm creating a line with my modeling tool. And I'm doing the same to define the crease at his legs, and it doesn't tear like fondant would, which is pretty cool. Okay, I'm not very happy with how much his belly is sticking out, so I'm going to thin him out just a bit on the front, and once he is thinned out, I can freshen it up with a new layer of ganache, and I'm going to cover that area up with a lighter shade of brown to match his snout. Let's give him some shoulders and kneecaps, and he could not be the lead singer of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza without his microphone. To make his top hat, I'm stacking up some of my extra cake and I'm filling it with chocolate ganache. It's a really tiny cake, so I had to push a lollipop stick into it to be able to hold it while I smoothed out the sides, and then I'm covering it in black modeling chocolate. Before I add his feet, I'm going to match the pizzeria decor and add a checkerboard floor on the cake board. These are just squares of black and white fondant, and I really love how that looks. And now I can add his big feet that have 3 large toes. Anytime a character is dirty or dinged up, you definitely want to get that onto the cake too. You want this one to not be perfect. And to do that, you can use any type of tool that has kind of like a scrub brush type of texture. And I found a pottery tool in my drawer, so I am using that to lightly scratch up the cake. I'm also using an old paintbrush to dab brown food color paint all over him. I think it looks better with a couple different shades of brown. Let's add the final details, his hat, ears, and black bow tie. And if you want, you can paint the microphone with silver edible paint like I did. My Freddy Fazbear cake is complete. I am pretty pleased with how this cake has turned out. He's looking cute, but also really scary and creepy. I think I should probably cut into him before nighttime comes and he starts wandering around my house.